Hello children, today we are going to start chapter number 9, India's Human Resources for class 8th Geography. In this chapter, we are going to learn about what actually is a human resource, what are man-made resources, what is human resource development, what is a census, technology, and even the major characteristics of a population, including the skilled and unskilled workers. So let's begin. The very first topic to begin with is human resources. What actually is a human resource? Human resource refers to all the skills, the knowledge and the abilities which we all have. That is called as a human resource. This human resource of ours can be used for various constructive works. We can make schools with it, we can make colleges with it, we can be a part of the government and even the various other institutions, and therefore these all can be considered as a man-made resource. Next comes up with the topic of human resource development. When we are working hard to improve the human resources of ours, we call it as a human resource development. It can be through certain exercises and various other courses also. Now, let us study about the distribution of population in India. For that, we need to first of all understand the term census. Census is the official counting of a population of a country done. And in India, the last census was done in year 2011. We have even come to see that because of the birth rate, the death rate, and even the factors like emigration and immigration, the population have seen a lot of changes. When the birth rate increases, the death rate does not increase. The population seems to increase. And if the death rate is higher, birth rate is less, then surely the population will be a decreased one. Let us now study how the population is distributed. Distribution of population. Distribution of population can make the areas to be either densely or sparsely populated. Densely populated regions means like where all the facilities are there, whatever things are needed by the people to survive, they are easily available, like in the plain areas or in the river basins. There the soil is too fertile. The people can easily have the crops grown. If you talk about the coastal areas, there also the people can go for fishery as an occupation. If you talk about the hilly areas, obviously it is little difficult for reaching to the resources, and therefore mainly the plains, the river basins and the coastal areas are considered as the densely populated areas, whereas the hills on which it's very difficult even to make the transport system also to work by, and also the desert areas where there is a lack of vegetation, even the water is also a big problem. Water scarcity is the main problem, and therefore these two areas will be considered as the sparsely populated regions of India. Now, let us go to the next topic, that is the density of population and size of population. size of a population and density of population are actually the related terms. Now, a question would be there, how are they related? Size of population means how many people are living in an area, whether a large number or whether a less number. And therefore, the size of population can be easily defined like how many people are living in a given area. That gives us the size of population. Whereas the density of a population means the number of people per unit area of land. How many people in a given area, how many people are accommodated there. That is called as density. So we can relate like that a size of population is directly proportional to the density of population. Like suppose if you talk about the plain area where all the facilities are available and therefore obviously more and more people will be living there. If more people will be living there, more will be the size of population, and therefore automatically we can say that that particular area is densely populated. Or we can say that the density of population is very high in that region. Okay, and therefore both, and if the population size is less like in deserts, the density of population also will be less to accompany. Now we are going to start with the characteristics of population. Characteristics of population. In it, the very first feature comes as age composition. The second comes up as the sex ratio. The third one comes as the rural-urban composition. And the fourth comes up as the literacy. Now, let us read each one of them in detail. In age-sex composition, the three criteria the population is divided into. And because it says age, and therefore we are dividing the full population of the country in three categories. The very first one comes as the people, or especially the children included in it, which are under 15 years of age. That means they are not major. 15 years of age below children are not fit for doing any kind of a job, and therefore they make up the dependent population. They are dependent upon their parents. They are not fit for doing anything useful for the country, and therefore we consider them as dependent. The second category in it comes up as the age group between 15 years to below 65 years. That means these people are quite young and they have so much energy left in them that they can do something productive for the country, and therefore they comprises the working population. The third category in the age composition comes up for again the dependent ones, the people who are more than 65 years of age. Obviously, when 65 years of age, they have already throughout their life worked so hard and now not in a physical state for continuing with more of the physical work, and therefore they are also considered as the dependent population. This comes up to the end of age composition. The second thing says the sex ratio. What do you mean by sex ratio? The number of females counted per 1,000 number of males is called as the sex ratio. In our country, unfortunately, the sex ratio is a 940 females per 1,000 males. The number of females are less because obviously the number of the girl child is not very much favored. In many of the villages and in many of the areas, when a girl child is born, they are not given proper feed, they are killed. And even before birth also, the female child is aborted. And therefore comes the differences in the sex ratio of males and females. The third thing comes up as a rural-urban composition. Our country is having a varied feature of both rural and urban part. Rural means villages, urban means the more developed cities and towns. As in the cities, more facilities are there, maybe for jobs, maybe for the child's education, maybe if you talk about the medical care and all, and therefore the people mostly prefer to move on from rural to the urban areas. That is, from the villages they try to move on to the urban areas, and therefore the village population will decrease, whereas the urban population that is in a city or a town, it will increase. And therefore this also makes the differences to come by. The people who are living in the rural areas, they make up the rural population. The people who live in urban areas make up the urban population. The last and not the least is the literacy. Literacy means education. It is the most important factor which is very much important for a country's economic and even the other welfare terms. If a person is educated, obviously the skills could be more improved. But if a person who doesn't have the basic knowledge also, then how can his skills be more improved? Because for more improvement of skills, more of the technical terms need to be engaged. And therefore, it will be very difficult. And in the past years, Kerala has reached up to the highest literacy rates. Now, the next topic to start on with is health and education in human resource development. Obviously, this health and education are two again very related ones for the human resource development, because if a person will be healthy and educated, he will be obviously making the country to more and more prosper. And therefore, the government of every state is even trying hard to make every child to have at least the elementary education. And even if the people are too poor that they cannot afford any of the education, even the government is providing it and free in the municipal schools. And therefore, the people should actually make themselves aware and make their children to be educated. The next thing to start is with the type of workers which are there in the country. There are two types of workers which are there. One are called as the skilled workers and the other ones are called as unskilled workers. Obviously, from these two terms, you must have got the meaning. Skilled means who have all the knowledge, who has undergone special type of courses, special type of trainings for having their knowledge and the skill more improved. Unskilled means that no courses needed, no experience is also needed, and even no proper training is also needed for those people. And therefore, the difference comes by. All the doctors, any person, you cannot make him to go directly to the operation theatre for making a person to be surgeried. You cannot make any person to be there on the doctor's chair, sitting down and prescribing medicines to the patients. You cannot make any person to be there in the pilot seat for making any airplane to fly. And therefore, for all these work, whichever we need proper training, learning and all, that comes up as the skilled workers. They includes doctors, they include lawyers, teachers, engineers and many others. Unskilled workers means that a proper training is not needed and therefore they can start with any of the work anytime, and includes the construction workers, maybe the maids which are coming to your home, and even the gardeners, and along with them a lot of other people, the sweepers, The garbage collectors who are coming to your home, they don't need any special training, they don't need any special kind of education for it, and therefore they can start on with their work. Skilled workers mostly contribute to the economy of the country and make the country to prosper. Whereas unskilled workers are helping the other people to improve upon their skills. Obviously, a sweeper is also a very important part of the society. If he will not be, then who is going to clean up the streets? We all will be living in dirt and filth. And therefore, every work is important, but the skilled workers are contributing more. Impact of a skilled human resource. A country's prosperity, a country's income depends upon these skilled workers only. Because when they will work, they will be, if suppose any industry is there in which the skilled engineers are there, they have devised out a machine which is now to be sold out to the other countries. Obviously, the country to which they belong is also gaining fame and also will be earning because of them. And therefore, these skilled workers mainly contribute for a country's income. And to impart, to have the unskilled workers also to have a lot of skills developed in them, the government of India has also launched the Skill India mission. Okay, and it is supported by National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and also the various schemes are also under it. So the people, even if they cannot afford, they can go there and have their skills improved. That would be helping them to earn their livelihood. This comes up to the end of the chapter. I hope all the doubts of yours are cleared up. Thank you and have a nice day.